Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lover Society with me, Gert Retief. And tonight it's all about the peat, the smoke, and a little bit of a mystery whiskey, an independent bottler. And of course, I'm talking about a little bit of a strange name, but I kind of was intrigued when I looked online and I went through all the whiskies that is available and I saw this one. I only had this one bottle available and it was called As We Get It, Islay Cask Strength. And of course, it's a single malt. It is a smoky one. It is a Scotch whiskey. It is from the independent bottler called Ian Mcloed. Non-chill filtered, natural color, no age statement whiskey. It is bottled at an eye-watering 60.8% ABV, and this bottle will cost you around €70. So I was quite intrigued when I saw this bottle, and I had to try it. As you know, I'm not a big fan of the Islay whiskies. I'm not a big fan of smoky peated whiskies, but I did find some of them that is quite interesting, quite nice. More subtle smoke, not that big in your face medicinal hospital iodine type of peat, but the more subtle ones, I do kind of like some of them. And maybe for the next video, I will just take all of my whiskies with regards to peated whiskies, smoky whiskies, and I will do a little bit of a comparison. Which ones do I have now on my bar for somebody that does not like smoke? I seem to have quite a lot of them, which is a little bit strange. So that means I do kind of gravitate towards a little bit of a smoke every now and again. But tonight it's all about a independent bottler. As we get it, the Islay version. They also seem to have a Highland version as well. I haven't tried it. I did look online, but my store did not have the Highland version. So maybe in the future I will also try to get a hold of that one to also do a review on it. So tonight it's all about As We Get It. I'm going to be a little bit brave. I'm going to try it without water first, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just a quick reminder, 60.8% ABV. As soon as I poured it, you'll see by the color, it's almost non-existing color. It is one of the lightest whiskies that I've seen in a very long time. So that means there's no way that they added any color. No age statement, so maybe 3 years and a day, maybe 4 years, we don't know. We also don't know which distillery produced it. And of course, maybe I will do a little bit of a guess, but I think there's a reason that they don't give the names out. Name calling maybe is not a good idea, but of course it is a secret, nobody knows. So very light in color. Wow. It's definitely not what I expected. Which distillery it is, I've got no idea because it is so light. It's almost like a white wine. And then I get a hint of the smoke, the peat, but it is very subtle. A little bit of a citrus note definitely coming out. Wow, this is really nice. Now this is a type of peat that I can get used to. There's no medicinal note. There's not in your face kicking your teeth out, ruining your nostrils. It is just a light peat. Maybe a hint of that medicinal note coming out. More perfumey, sweet, citrus. It reminds me a little bit of a lemon sherbet type of nose. If I would guess the phenol parts per million, the ppms on it, I will maybe guess with maybe 10 maybe up to 20, between 10 and 20 parts per million for the phenol, so it is very low, but it is nice. I do get the alcohol. It's it does show the youthfulness of the alcohol, just a little bit. Especially if you agitate it a little bit, you get a hint of a nail polish remover. That ethanol type of smell, the young ethanol type of smell in it. Very gentle, very light, even a hint of a floral note coming out. The smoke, I will describe as a little bit of a savory note, maybe a little bit of a bacon, or maple covered bacon, and you put it in the oven or put it on a fire, and that sweet bacony nose coming out. Maybe also a little bit of a nice gammon or smoked ham. Really, really nice. If I look at the glass, if I look at the legs, it's like a thick, oily, it just sticks to the glass. I'm not sure if you can see it. So you've got this long, slow legs forming, just slowly going down the glass. So quite a little bit oily. So on the nose, fantastic. I do like it. So on the taste, cheers. Definitely smoky. I do get the peat. I do get the hint of that medicinal note coming out on the taste. So it definitely tells you that it is smoke. It definitely tells you it's 60.8% ABV. I get this warm mouth feeling. I get that hotness of it. I get the sweetness of it. I definitely get a little bit of that bacon note. I get that ham note. I get that oily mouthfeel to it. A little bit of a creamy note as well. Let me just give it one more try. Be careful with it, especially at the high ABV. I think this is a good idea to take it down a bit. I'm taking very small sip just to get the overall feel of exactly what I'm going to expect if I add water. So the sweetness is there, the bacon is there, the creaminess is there. I also get a little bit of a green grass type of taste. I don't know. Well, I don't think it makes sense to some people, but that's what came to mind. Green grass. When you just mow the lawn, you get that the smell. I get that smell to the taste. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what I get. A little bit of a herbal note as well. And then it moves into a little bit of a toffee note as well. And in the end, let me just give it one more try before I add a little bit of water. And a little bit of a chocolate note. Strange, that's not something that I would normally associate the Islays, but there was for me a little bit of a, not really a dark chocolate, maybe 50% cocoa type of chocolate, so there's a sweetness to it. This one, I can tell you now, if I look at my row of whiskies with peat in them, this one is kicking some ass. I can tell you that much. This is really, really nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. So it's maybe 20 milliliters left. So I've got some nice clear water. I am going to add maybe, I'm going to be quite generous with this one. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons, so about 10 milliliters on it, just because it is quite a lot of alcohol on it, and I want to give it a little bit of time so that it can open up, showing all the potential, all the flavors in it. So I'm going to do the shaky thing to see if I can just agitate it a little bit. So the first thing that I also notice, It is unchill filtered. It is no color added. And at that high ABV, I don't really see any mist forming. So it might be possible to add a little bit of water to it later. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. With the water, it just elevated the sweetness of it. That white winey type of sweet white wine type of nose. It did bring down the smoke levels. I get now fresh fruit, not so much on the citrus note, but something like a very sweet Asian pear. The vanillas are definitely coming out of. And then I also get a hint of a cinnamon. And I also get a hint of a mint. When you smell that little minty cooling effect in your nose. And then I get a hint of a oaky mustiness coming out as well. But not much, just a hint of that. Really nice. So this one is absolutely fantastic without water, but when I added this water, wow, it just elevated things so much. Of course, I don't like heavy peated ones, so it makes sense for me that when I added the water, it took the peat level down, and it made me happy. But let's taste it with some water. Cheers. Absolutely fantastic. The peat is definitely still there. That hint of a medicinal note, just a hint. You get the light smokiness. The increased level of sweetness is definitely there. The smoke is, I think, is maybe a 2-3 notches less than when before I added the water. The chocolate note is still there. Now I also get a little bit of a toffee covered with chocolate, maybe a little bit of a milk chocolate. There's a little bit of a creamy note is still there, and a little bit of an oily note. It covers your mouth. It's still very strong. I still get that alcohol. I think I might add even some more water. I think we are talking now about in the 50, between 50, 52 maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I can still feel that burn of the alcohol. That hint of the oak, let me just make sure. Wow, that is so nice. Just a hint of the oak is there. Not while it's in your mouth, or afterwards, when you swallow, you get that hint of the oak appearing, with the sweetness of it, with a little bit of that toffee note, with a little bit of a chocolate note. So it is just very pleasant. This is absolutely fantastic. Feel a little bit of an oak building up now, especially in the finish. More oak than the sweetness of it. So, who makes it? That is a question. For me, if I had to guess, I would say maybe Bowmore. And the reason for me, the only Bowmores I had is the sherry cask finish ones, the 12-year-old, the 18-year-old. And it just reminds me of that. New make without the sherry cask influence. It kind of reminds me of that. I can be totally wrong. I don't know. But my guess is good as anybody else's guess. So if I talk about the finish, so I get the sweetness. I get that little bit of a savory note, a little bit of a bacon note. I get a little bit of a chocolate note. A hint of an iodine maybe. I get a chocolate covered toffee, and then I get the oakiness, and then the sweetness, and when it is just a short medium finish, add a little bit more, and everything will be okay. So score wise, I do like this one. This is one of the whiskies that I'm definitely going to have permanently on the bar. Especially when you have friends over and you want to show them the different styles of whiskey from Islay. The heavily peated one. One of my favorites is actually also here, the Lagavulin 16. Didn't like it that much when I first opened the bottle up, and I just put it back in the cupboard. I let it rest and mature there for a little bit. Added some oxygen, and that became one of the ones that I really enjoy. When I go out, most of the restaurants here will have the Lagavulin 16, so that is something that I normally would order. But anyway, that is for a new next video. So score-wise, I'm going to give that a 90 out of 100. I think that is one of the highest scores that I gave to an Islay. I have to go look at my notes to see which one could beat this one. I doubt it very much. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the subscribers. We are really ticking every day. 1 or 2 subscribers are added, and hopefully I can get to the 1,000 soon. And of course, with that 1,000 subscribers, I want to open 1 of 2 bottles, and I still have to decide which one. I have the 25-year-old Glenfarclas, and I have a 2019 bottle from Glendronach, the 18-year-old. So maybe I will run a poll by then to see which ones my subscribers would want me to see opening up, and maybe do a quick review on them as a celebration of my 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for watching, and I see you next time. Cheers.